I'll ask you. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Women's Fittest. I'm super excited to have a dear friend of mine, Natalie Wolfe, IFBB Pro Women's Physique. How are you doing today?
Good. Tired, very tired, but that's all right.
Yeah, I know you have you got another one coming up, don't you?
It'll be 4 weeks Saturday, and that was actually like totally not planned. We decided to do it after Chicago because I got more points in Chicago, but then from Tampa, because I couldn't do Tampa because I committed to the guest posing in Kalamazoo, so I had the guest posing on Saturday. Did you see anything from that?
Yeah, I did. I
Yeah.
saw stage time photos and I saw it from your, I saw
Instagram. Okay.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. So fun it was. And I love Hans. We love Hans. So anyway, and we love the Kalamazoo show anyways. But and the new venue that it was at was like way better than the State Theater, I thought.
That's
I mean,
what I was
backstage.
Where
Yeah.
does it take place now?
It was at the Comstock Auditorium, something or other. I don't even know. But it was the backstage area was like way better than the State Theater, and there was just a lot more. The stage was nice. The lighting was a little sketchy, but other than that, everything was like way better. Anyway, so after Chicago, I wanted to stay pretty much intact for that. You know, I didn't want to veer off too much. But like I've been competing since May. I just feel like my body is like getting to that point where like I just need a tiny mini break, you know. So this past week I've kind of trying to get more sleep, you know, trying to not do as much cardio just so that I can get back now come Saturday for 4 weeks out for Savannah. But because we got to that second place spot for the Olympia points after Chicago, we were like, screw this, we need to do another show. And had I not been guest posing, I probably would have wanted to jump into Tampa because it was so close. And just because it was Tampa, it was like the last show to get that many points. It was like the last top tier show, I think. There's a couple more, I think, top tier shows, but I think it's like Portugal, and it might even be the other out of the country one. But for like even Texas, it's a lower tiered show, you know, so you don't get as many points placing in the top 5. So that's why, I mean, Savannah is the next closest one for us. We don't like flying. I hate flying. So that's why we decided to do Savannah, because it's the only other show that I can pretty much drive to and be okay. I mean, it's 14 hours, so that's going to suck. And Nate's not going to be able to go because he actually he's switching plant. Like he got a new job. He's doing the same thing. It's just at another nuclear plant. So like, he's not going to have the time to take off come September. So it's like going to be me and my mom, I think, going. So yeah, so I'm gonna be doing all the driving, which totally sucks, but we're gonna just leave a little earlier. Yeah, it's gonna suck. 14 hours is a long time. So yeah, so now we just like are hoping, you know, after Tampa, I got bumped down to the 3rd place spot for Olympia points. So that's where I'm at now. In that 3rd place spot with 13 points. And Anna, I don't know how to say her last name, but she's from Mexico. She's in the 2nd place spot because she placed 2nd in Tampa. So she got 8 points for that. So she's got like 19. And whoever is in 1st has like 23. I don't think anyone's catching her. So and she's a for sure win there. Yeah.
Nice. So, well, let's get started. Let's go back a little bit and talk a little bit about your beginnings. It's funny, you know, so are you from Michigan? You're from Michigan, right?
No, Chicago, originally. Chicago, born and raised, lived my whole life there. I moved here in 2011. July of 2011, I moved here. Nate was living in Chicago with me at the time. Ended up getting a job in January of 2011 at Palisades, where he's been working ever since. And that was when we were engaged at the time. We still weren't married. We were engaged forever. And we had to just make a decision of like where we wanted to live. He hated Chicago, hated it, hated the fast pace of it, the dirtiness, the mean people, like it just what traffic. He hated everything about Chicago except the food. But at that time we sat down and we just had to decide, like we dealt with the long distance for 6 months and it started causing major anxiety for him, like driving in on his off days and I was still working even though he was off, you know, it just sucked. I never really did the drive to Michigan. I was a Cook County correctional officer. So like it was my days off were like in the middle of the week. You know, I couldn't drive to see him. So he came to see me on the weekends, but it was like I still had work. It just caused a lot of anxiety for him doing that, because he wasn't, you know, he had no time either then, you know. So we sat down and just thought about, weighed the pros and cons of what we wanted to do with the rest of our lives. And I thought I would never leave Chicago. I was that girl that was like city girl all the way, you know. The older I got though, the more I was like, I need to get the hell out of here. And it was just a big deal only because we really had nothing holding us back. We didn't own the house that we were in. Um, you know, my job was pretty much, we didn't have kids to worry about, you know, picking up and moving. The only thing was my job was like a pretty good job. It wasn't something that I absolutely was passionate about. I did love it and I love the people I worked with, but I did not, you know, I was fine with leaving. You know, it was just when we told our family and like all my, even people at work, our friends, they were like, holy because we waited to the last minute to tell everybody we were doing this. I put in my 2-week notice and basically told the world at that point. And they were like, oh my God, what are you nuts? I'm like, I just, you know, yeah, I guess so, you know, like whatever. My parents had a place up in Grand Junction though, which is 15 miles east of here, South Haven. So like I had been coming up to this area probably since I was 5, because that was when they bought the place. So it was like I was familiar with it. I just do like a little bit of like people. Like I need to be close to things. Like I can't live in the country. I
Right.
cannot. They live on like 18 acres. And like in the beginning, they're like, oh, you kids, we'll give you some of the land. You can build a house. I'm like, I am not living in the middle of nowhere. Like I need neighbors. I need to be close to grocery stores, gas stations, you know.
Yeah.
So we are close now and I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad we made that decision back then because I'm in love with where we're at in our lives now, for
That's
sure.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Natalie, I want to talk a little bit about your beginning. I always like to touch on the epigenetics and sports that kids played, that type of thing, like what kind of background you had. So, you know, growing up, did you play sports? What were you involved in? And then how did you transition into getting into bodybuilding?
So like honestly in grammar school I went to like my graduation class out of 8th grade was like 17 kids. Like it was small Catholic. I went to Catholic high school too, all girls Catholic high school. Like in the city of Chicago, you either go to a public school, which is like they're all horrible, or they really are. They're all pretty bad. And they're probably even worse now than they were when I was growing up. But or you go to an all girls Catholic school because you had all boys Catholic schools then too, you know. So in grammar school, I played volleyball, softball. Wasn't anything. I mean, I wasn't really that good at it, you know. Going into high school though, my sister was on the swim team, so I literally joined the swim team only because of her.
Okay.
So I swam in high school, and then I played water polo for the 2 years that we had it in high school because we didn't have water polo until another girl's like father ended up being the coach, so they brought it on. So I played water polo, but the thing was like our school didn't even have a swimming pool, so we had to go to the brother school to even like go to practice every day. It was kind of crazy, but I wasn't even that good either. Like our team had like one state swimmer on it, you know, like we weren't very good. But out of high school, then I went to Illinois State University, and all I did was like do anything health fitness related at all. It wasn't until I came home and I guess you can say I still partied. I started getting introduced to the gym when my sister, was subscribed to Oxygen magazine. Okay. And it started being like every time we went out, it was like I felt like every one of my friends was starting to find their significant others, okay, at the time. And so like they weren't wanting to go out as much. And I was like, man, I'm dragging people to the bars, you know, like trying to go out every day of the week I was. And everyone started settling down. I was like, Natalie, you need to take control of your life. Like you are just ridiculous, you know, like going out 6 nights out of 7 nights a week, getting drunk, like an idiot. So that
How old were you when this was going on?
uh, probably like 23-ish. Well, here's the thing too. When I came home from college, I did start dating a guy who was like 7 years older than me.
Okay.
And for like 3 years of my life, like 19, 20, 21, I was like in this relationship where I acted a lot older because I did. Those were like the only 3 years of my life that like I did. We went out with like his family and stuff, and I still like drank and whatever. I didn't work out. I wasn't into health and fitness, but like I thought I was going to marry the guy. Turns out we broke up. I was 22. So what I should have been doing at 19, 20, and 21, I made up for at 22, 23, and it kind of trickled down at 24. But that's when I didn't find the gym. I started working out in my own home. I had a room. I had a bench with some dumbbells. I bought one of those little stupid universal things where I had at least a lat pull down, yeah, like mirrors all over the place. Like, because me and my sister lived in our own apartment at the time. Like, my parents owned a 2-flat, and we were always on the first floor, and they lived on the second floor. So like, it was a 3-bedroom, and one of the bedrooms was just like a workout room, basically. So that's actually where I worked out for my very first show that I probably shouldn't have stepped on stage for, but I did. Because I didn't even start working out until 2004, and the show was at the end of 2004, I will say too, and the show was December 2005, and I worked out in my bedroom. I didn't even have anything for cardio. I used to go to a women's workout world just to do the cardio. They don't even have women's workout worlds anymore. Like, that's how old I am. I'm 43. Yeah, old as F. Yeah. So it was just, I was intimidated. Like, I was so nervous to go to a regular gym. I felt like if I walked in a regular gym, I would have looked stupid. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, people are going to be like, oh, she know what she's doing, blah, blah, blah. I just saw that Oxygen magazine, and I saw the girls in there, and I was like, holy shit, I want to look like that. Like, this is what I want to look like. And I've never been, like, growing up, I was never obese as a kid or nothing. I just was never that skinny girl either. Like, yeah. I knew that like I held on to more muscle than the average, basically. Okay. So it wasn't until I started working out when I was really like, man, I am changing, but here's the thing, diet wise, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like, I was taking little pieces from everything. And so my diet was jacked up completely.
So
until
this is 2004, as you said?
Yeah, like, so 2005, pretty much, because it was at very tail end of 2004 that I started competing. And I think actually 2005 is when I attended my very first show. I ended up going to junior nationals in 2005. Okay. And I saw Valerie Wagaman. I think that's how you say her last name. She won figure that year. And I was like obsessed with her, like being at that show. Like, back then I didn't realize like regional level shows, local level shows, to national shows, blah, blah, blah. It was just like, I went by myself. My mom knew I was going. Some of my friends knew, but I didn't even tell a lot of people. I just wanted to go to see this, sitting in that audience. So I was like, in awe. I was like, Mike Davies was in front of me. Of course, back then, Mike Davies had like all the top girls in the magazines, So you're like, I was like, oh my God, Valerie's sitting right in front of me with Mike Davies. Like, I just couldn't believe it. So what's crazy is I came home that night, and my mom came down and asked how the show was and stuff. And I told her, this is it. I'm doing a show this year, and I'm going to compete. I just started delving. I did everything on my own until 2007, pretty much. And that's when I hired Elena from Troponin Nutrition. Okay. She was one of the nutritionists. Nate was one of the nutritionists. Justin. And I think Shelby was with them too at the time. But that's when Elena is who I hired. And she's the one who basically brought me in then for 2007 to those national shows. Okay. But it wasn't until then that I realized, like, yeah, you had no clue what you were doing with your diet.
So you had competed before you even had gone to a show?
No. So 2005, it was June that I went to junior nationals. And in December, I did the show. December of 2005 was my first show. And if you see pictures, you're probably like, yeah, she probably shouldn't have stepped on stage. But my goal was to not place last. Yeah. And there was only 4 girls in my class, and I took third. So I made my goal. I was excited. But I literally got obsessed with it after that. I was obsessed. I wanted to be better, do better. I actually went to a regular gym when I competed in December. Then I met some people that were at local gyms around me. Because, I honestly didn't even know Illinois NPC anything. I didn't know anyone that competed in Illinois, blah, blah, blah. I ended up, obviously everything online. I found the Illinois NPC sites, Muscle Mayhem. I don't know if were you ever a part of Muscle Mayhem? the boards back then. It
Well,
was
no,
like a,
I mean that's Chad Nichols, right? Is it
yeah,
he?
uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's how I found a lot of people too. Like, that I used to go on that board every day, So a lot of the training stuff I got from there, because I didn't even know what I was doing either back then, training wise, like an idiot. I really didn't. I was just
What were
taking
some?
workouts out of Oxygen magazine is what I was doing.
Well, this is what we had, right? So like this is what year is this basically?
2005. 2005.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like we had magazines, you had, the forums, like Jamie Pinder always talks about the forums as well. This is
Hmm.
for me, even too, because I didn't get involved in bodybuilding until the tail end of 2010. So
Oh, so yeah, shit,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was the
So,
magazines. It was you would
so,
see like even I don't even know if it was Nicole Wilkins at that point, like who was on the cover of the Oxygen magazines.
yeah, like Jenny, what's her face? She just
Um
passed away too recently, 2021. Man, why can't I think of her last name? But Jenny Worth was like into fitness back then too. But like Adela Garcia,
yeah.
all of the big names. Jenny, man, what is her name? Why am I blanking out?
Uh
Savannah, I think it's Savannah. She was a runner now. She's kind of still on social media.
but
I don't know, just like you.
it's these magazines had, like, for people who don't know this far back, even like the men's magazine would have like a two-page spread of some of the females, and you
Yep.
would have
And
a
this,
yeah.
like, I literally went on the Oxygen's
Yes.
like magazine website, back ordered. I don't know how I was able to do it. I don't even know if they still do this, but I was back
Oh,
ordered like 2 years of magazines. And I
really?
literally like just read every magazine. I ordered the Arnold's encyclopedia, like all these books and shit. Like, this is how I learned in the beginning what to
Yeah.
do. But then even Muscle Mayhem was a huge forum, huge. Everybody was on there. I mean, there's so many names, like old school names that like were on that forum, honestly. And that's how I honestly met Nate. I knew he was a nutritionist through Wolf or through Trapona Nutrition, but I like didn't meet him that way. And kind of met on Muscle Mayhem, which is so funny, when you think about it. Because here we are, how many years later, happily married.
That's
um,
awesome.
I know.
So let's go back to your competition history. So this is like 2000 and
5.
yeah.
So that show I did figure. Okay, even in 2006. I did I did like 2 shows in Illinois. Okay. Back then, all you had to do was place top 5 to qualify for nationals, right? A national show. What did my ass do? Yes, of course. I qualified
So
because
you
I placed like 4th and 3rd. So I decided to do junior nationals in 2006. And my sister came with me. She spent the night, she stayed with me in the hotel and stuff. I was probably, I got a DNP, did not place, next to my name, which basically is what I needed to happen, because that is when I stepped off stage. Of course, I cried like a baby that night. Like, I don't know why I did this, blah, blah, blah. Thinking I would do good. And of course I didn't, because I shouldn't have been up there like an idiot. I
right.
wish I had someone tell me don't do it. But at the same time, I'm glad that happened, because that was the kick in the butt to be like, Natalie, you need to hire somebody, because you don't know what the hell you're doing with your diet. You know what I mean? But what is also so awesome to me, is that in 2005, I was at Junior Nationals to watch my very first show. And
Yeah.
exactly 1 year later, I was on that stage. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's how much I put into
Yeah.
the whole thing. Like, the day I got home from there, I was like, I'm doing it. And that's what happened. 3 shows later, I shouldn't, like I said, I qualified, but now I would never tell a client if they took 4th, like, you are not doing junior nationals. Like, no,
Yeah.
you took 4th. You wait until you win a show, and then,
Yeah.
not by default either.
I love that. I know that you're a huge advocate for that too, but I mean, like, I did the same thing. We've all done it where
Yeah,
you're like, I'm not ready for this, but damn it, I'm just gonna give it a give it a go.
try, you want to, but there are some, like, because some people start off having a great coach, like the best coach out there. And I think that that's good, but it's the way I did it. I think, like, obviously, maybe I could have been where I am now in half the time it took me. But you know what? I learned so much along the way. I did it my way.
Yeah.
I was smart about things. Um,
Yeah.
I, 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 I didn't know who to trust back then. Let's just say I really didn't.
Yeah.
And being on the boards when I finally decided to hire Elena or go through Chaponin, I should say, he's one who basically put me with Elena. I think she took care of a lot of the females back then. I loved her, and then I ended up trusting her a lot. She brought me into, so I stepped off stage in Junior Nationals 2006, and what happened is uh, you used to qualify for 2 years back then, a calendar year and then one full
Yeah.
year. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, you did. So I knew that I wanted to do Junior USA's the following year. She took me to an off season and a pre-contest into 2007. I did Junior USA's and I did Junior Nationals in 2007. And I will say, like, I loved the way I looked, but I still just wasn't big enough for like figure, like I think I looked really good. I don't even remember what I placed, to be honest, at both of those shows. I really don't.
Yeah.
I'd have to look online. But I mean, I wasn't last place, like I was in the middle, I think, of the pack. I just, at that time, I had met Nathan. After that, I started going through the Cook County Corrections, the Sheriff's Academy. So I took 2008 off, and he kind of took over my diet because then that's when we were dating. And so he took over everything for me. And then it was his idea to actually switch to female bodybuilding because women's physique was not out yet. Yeah.
Is there, is there a door or something that's open to the gym there? Or
Oh, no, but it's only because the office doesn't have a ceiling. Is it loud?
Yeah.
Is it loud? I'm
It is loud.
sorry.
So either,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
if you can speak a little bit louder, that would probably be better.
Okay. So
You were
I don't
switching
even know.
to
Oh yeah.
body.
So he took over my diet. 2008, I took off from the stage and I just worked on building muscle. And honestly, I've always done my own training. He's never, I mean, we used to train together, Nate and I did in the gym, but then like now we don't. I did a lot of DC training back then too, to put on size.
Yeah.
But he took over my diet in 2008, and then 2009 we did 2 local shows, one in Michigan, the Western Michigan, and then the the Midwest Ironman in Illinois, and I was about female bodybuilding, and I basically won my class at both of those and took the overall at both shows. Back then, bodybuilding though was way more like local shows. Now barely have any.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think there was one at freaking Kalamazoo, and it's like so frustrating. Back then there was like 12 girls in the classes, 10 girls, 12 girls, whatever. It was just much bigger than it is local show wise than it is now. So anyways, I won the overall both of those. And then that's when Nate said, next year, we're not even doing any juniors. We're going straight to USA's. Like, he wanted me to do a pro qualifier because he thought I had a shot, right? Nobody knew who I was still. So we took the rest of that year off, trained my butt off, got ready for USA's in 2010. This is when you probably came around, right?
Yeah,
You said 2010. So 2010, we went to Vegas, and I ended up taking second at my very first national show as a bodybuilder. And that lit a freaking fire like no other, because nobody knew who I was. You know what I mean? Like, going there, it was this enormous show, and I ended up taking second. And then we did North Americans. But by that time, I just was like, it was a long season for me. I ended up taking, I think, fourth at North Americans. And then 2012, I competed at North Americans again. We only picked one show. It was rough working at the jail, and prepping. I will say that was my schedule. I had a schedule, but you could get mandated any day. So it was like you went from working 8 hours to maybe 16. So there were many days where my shit just got thrown off because of that, and it was just pretty hard. So we just picked one show. And I did North Americans again, and I moved up to the heavyweights that year because I was a light heavyweight in 2010. I literally weighed in at exactly 140 in Vegas, like the cutoff. So
what are you, 5'4"?
No, 5'7". Girl, I'm tall. 5'7".
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I wish I was 5'4". I'd look a lot bigger. Wait, how tall are you?
I'm oh yeah, you are taller than me. I am
I think so, like
5'5". Yeah.
I was gonna say you're taller too. You're not very tall, but you're taller than my sister. My sister's so short. But
yeah.
so then after, well, and the only other reason we only did North Americans too, because we had basically moved to Michigan in 2000. I made that move in 2011, so that was a lot.
Yeah.
Or no, not 2012. I'm lying. 2011, 2010. I did USA's and North Americans. Then 2011 is when I moved up, because that's what happened. Nate's like, you won't even have to worry about getting a job right away when you move. We'll focus on North Americans. You can look for a job after North Americans, and that's what happened. I was able to focus on North Americans. Then I competed, and then I started looking for a job after that. And then 2012, we got married finally after years and years of being engaged. We finally got married. So I took that year off for that. Then 2013, we had gotten in a car accident at the end of 2012, and I broke my arm. We were at the Western Michigan, and we were coming home from the Western Michigan. Someone hit us on passenger side, my side, and I broke my arm. So 2013, I basically spent recovering, gaining back my strength, because it was just a long process. They set it in Grand Rapids. A month later, it wasn't taken, so they had to go back and put a plate in my arm. So it was like longer than it should have been recovery-wise for that. And then Women's Physique had come out in 2012? I don't even know what year that came out.
Yeah, it was 2012. Yeah.
All right. So that's when, because I didn't compete in 2012 because we got married, and then 2013, the arm, and I had lost a little bit of size because of that kind of. 2014 came along, and he had bought me an MPC card for 2014, and he was like, I think you can turn pro in this division, so we're going to give it a shot. So that's what happened. I did the Grand Rapids show in 2014. That was my very first Women's Physique show, and I won the overall there. And then 2 or 3 weeks later was Junior Nationals. We did it. I won my class, and there you go.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. No, game over. And I mean, it was like, that's just the beginning. So all of this, do you think that girls today have a lot more, like, things are happening faster for them because they don't have to do all this trial and error that everyone else has had to do in the past?
I never really thought about it that way, but that could play a role. I could see that, because they didn't have the resources, like we didn't have the resources available that people do now, number one. But I think also too, a lot of it is impatient.
Yeah.
Girls are impatient. They do not want to do it the right way.
Yeah.
We won't even get into that, but it just is like they are wanting things faster and doing things to get there faster that just end up ruining them. I believe the longevity that I've had in this sport is because I've done everything smart.
Yeah.
And I've had my husband to trust with that. Had my husband not been doing my diet, I honestly do not know if I'd be where I am today, still being healthy to compete. You know, I don't know. I have trust issues anyways. So it was like, even trusting Elena was hard for me to do, but I did end up trusting her because she was great too. But it was just, girls now just listen to anyone, and they don't really.
It blows your mind, doesn't it? Some of the stuff that you hear about, briefly, obviously you're talking about drug use, and you got girls that are, using PEDs, before they're even stepping on stage or for the first time. And it's mind-boggling. It really is. So you can get a lot further in a shorter period of time at the beginning, but a lot of these girls are playing all their cards. If you are using as much stuff before you get your pro card as somebody after they're competing on the pro level, there's nothing for you to do except use more drugs, and there's no saying that's
bingo.
So it's
bingo.
tough.
And that's what happens though, and that's why you see all these, and I'm not going to say all, because I'm just saying I'm not going to name any names either, but I could. Girls who have made it far in such a short period of time, but then what happens a few years later? Where'd they go?
Yeah.
Why?
They're just gone.
Because it's like, why would you do? Why? It's crazy. And a lot of, recently, when everything happened with all the deaths that were going on and people were coach blaming and all this nonsense, I get it. I get it why people like want to blame the coach, but at the same time, it's like you are responsible for what you are putting in your body.
Yeah.
If you don't know what's going on or you don't know what it is and you're going to listen, then I blame you.
Yeah.
Google the shit, find out what it is, research it on your own, or tell the person, no, I'm not willing to do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it boggles my mind that girls are that. I mean, and I'll tell you what, I was very naive in the beginning too.
Sure.
So naive. I remember going to the Arnold Classic in 2007, I believe it was. Yeah, 2007, with a good friend and one of his friends. And I had met his friend at that time, and he had been a manager for Kevin Levrone back in the day. Okay. He told me some stories, and he was like, you'll never be able to turn pro naturally. You'll never probably be able to turn pro. He told me I had short biceps. I remember him telling me that it would be hard for me to turn pro with short biceps and bodybuilding. Like, he told me all these stories though, and I was just like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Like, I just couldn't believe some of the stories he was telling me, you know. But that's how naive I was. I had no clue that girls were even
Oh
taking
yeah.
anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, because you would go around like, do you think she's natural? And people would just be like, are you stupid? You're like,
I know, and that's how they
oh,
were like with me. They're like, nearly every single girl on that stage was probably taking something out. You know, that was 2007. So like, again, I didn't have Nate in my life at that point either. You know, like,
yeah,
and I wouldn't have. I know the the friend that I knew that brought me there,
yeah,
had probably wanted me to delve, and I just was like, no, I don't want to yet. I'm not
yeah,
ready for that. You know, like, I just didn't trust anything because I really didn't. I was so not knowledgeable of a lot of stuff. You know,
yeah.
but that's another reason why I believe that I've been able to do this that long, is because I literally did this for a long time before I even,
Yeah. Yeah.
anything.
I mean, that's why I love, I mean, I know you're still in the thick of it, and I think that's amazing, but a lot of the women that are, your age and my age are done competing now. And it's like, I like talking to them too, because they've done it right. They've come out, they've been able to maintain their femininity. A lot of them are having children and stuff and families and whatever, and, it downsized a lot. Like, but you have to be able to come out of this sport and ready to live another 40, 50 years of life.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and that's what I think a lot of young girls don't realize. You know, they look at it as like this, especially now with social media the way it is, this fame and fortune it's going to be, and it's not. Like, hello, you still need a freaking day job too. Okay, so um besides that, like, it's not, your health should be number one priority
Yeah.
no matter what, and so many people kind of sacrifice that, I think, especially nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I
Especially
mean,
nowadays.
it's not a lot of people get into the sport thinking, I want to gain some muscle, I want to look better, I want to be healthier. And then somebody brings up competing, and all of a sudden, they go to a show or they're surrounded by people who are competing, and they kind of catch this bug of like, I want to be, everybody's looking for a group, they want to be accepted,
Yeah,
and it's
sure.
trendy, and you really have to do it because, I mean, most of the people I know who do it love it because they do it because they love training. You really
Yeah,
have to love, like, that's kind of the base of, and the results do come, and that's also addictive, and it's also something that you love. But like, I know, like, I'm in a stage of my life right now where like I'm not going to be building any more muscle. Now I'm working out to be healthy, to maintain or hold on to as much
right.
as what I have. And,
Sure.
this is that stage. So, you can't be so engrossed with this, constantly building muscle, because it does have a cap.
Oh, for sure. And I totally agree with that. Yeah. And now I know, like, the older I'm getting, obviously my training has shifted completely.
Let's talk
Um,
about that a little bit, about how your training has changed over the years.
and now, like, obviously I can't lift what I used to lift, but I don't even care because I'm kind of happy with my upper body size. I mean, there's things obviously that I can always improve on. I'll always think I have to improve on something, but I know that I definitely have probably lost some leg size and along the years, and that's just an age thing, I think, too. You know, it's not that I don't train him hard enough. It's just I train safely now, you know, like Nate is still so stuck in he's very slowly getting out of that. I have to lift super heavy, you know what I mean? But it's like your joints, you gotta save your joints. Like that's why I've only done one powerlifting meet. After that meet, I was like jacked up. My joints were so jacked up. Like this is not for me, you know. Like I just can't.
Yeah.
That it would have been too much. I don't know how people do both powerlifting and bodybuilding. That's got to be rough on their body. At least for me, it was.
I think I don't know if she still does it, but Melissa Tyke does
Yeah.
her training is kind of a cross between and Brooks is kind of like that too, but even Brooke has
I know
said,
Susan Davis too. Suzanne, I don't know how if it's Susan. I think Suzanne Davis. She's both. She does both still too.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like obviously you can tell by their physiques like that it works. You know, like they look phenomenal. But it's just
yeah, no. This is like I mean John Meadows talked about this all the time too. I mean how his training has changed had changed over the years, and I started really in the last 5 years or so really looking at John Meadows' style of training because it was so efficient and he was so clear about like you can't train in your 40s the way you did in your 20s. You're gonna fuck up your joints if you know, or your back or whatever. And he always had injuries that he was working through and would share, you know, it's like, yeah, slow your reps down so you're still getting that tension, but you lighter weight. And you know, these are
I've taken a lot of his principles into my training too now. You know, I really do. But that's what it's about. Like you got to just start incorporating either supersets, drop sets, you know, negative stuff, like different styles, like just add it into your regular training and not caring about doing 6 to 8 reps with whatever, you know, mega dose of weight. I'm over that. I'm over it, you know.
Yeah.
I really can't. Especially because, and now Nate will attest to this too. I've always been an overtrainer. Always. I don't do that obviously with my clients, but personally, that's just what has worked for me and what works. I'm like,
yeah.
Like I said,
Yeah.
after I kind of put on the size I kind of wanted to, that's when I started that. Because like I said, I used to do DC training, and DC training really isn't. But I will say when I did the DC training, I probably shouldn't have. But when I started it, I went to the advanced program in it and not the like beginner, you know, like just because that was my mentality. I wanted to do more always. But even now, I know I overtrain, but it's what works for me. I don't know, you know. But yeah, it's like in Chicago, like Ashley, she's 10 years younger than me. You know what I mean? Like that's what I got to think about now too. These girls are just way younger than me, and here I am. And I know there's other girls who are older, but to still be able this year being my best year, like it's mind boggling to me to be like, oh my God, I just turned 43, but at the beginning I was 42. At 42, here you are having the best competition year of your life. Like, what is going on? Like, and this past year has been one of the worst years of our lives.
Yes.
Tragedy wise, you know, like, but that's what fueled me this year. Sorry, I don't want to get emotional.
Yeah.
But that's what fueled me this year to keep going. It kind of, I use my grief in the gym to get me through my workouts and stuff like that's how I coped with my grief, I should say, you know. And still that's how I'm coping with it, I think, you know. But it's just crazy to me. All the bad stuff that happened in the last year, it's like all these good things are happening to Nate and I, and it's just like it's crazy. It's really like, you know, not just me doing really good this year. It's just like our gym is doing really good. We bought the gym in October 2020, and this year has been a really good year for us. And, you know, it just keeps growing. The gym is just the business as one is just getting better and better. But him getting the new job that he wanted, just a bunch of different stuff. Like it's just like good things are happening, and it's just like, you know, like God is life is wild, I will say, but man, he's
yeah, that's what I was thinking. God, I mean, he carries you through those things. He really does. And
he really does.
Bodybuilding is such a terrific outlet too for emotions and energy, you know what I mean? And I understand you know, that we're not supposed to use it, but I think a lot of us use it in order to get through stuff, because otherwise what would he do? He'd be sitting around being really sad. And it's not like you're not
Yeah.
feeling the emotions, but that
No, right.
energy has to be channeled. It has to be channeled.
Oh, for sure. I totally believe that. And it's like, when the accident happened with Nate's family, so there was
Yeah.
a gas leak in the house and there was the explosion. His mom passed away. He shut himself down from the gym and focused on a lot of like our yard, like outside work. Like he planted these trees. He was focusing on our like outdoor landscaping stuff. Like he was outside every day for hours on end doing landscaping stuff. Like I'm not kidding you. Like that's where he used his time. For
Yeah.
me, I had to get back in here or I was like drowning myself at home doing nothing, it was hard. But and then, just when everything was starting to feel okay, here it comes December. My whole family gets COVID and my father passed away on Christmas. We ended up catching COVID, like it was just horrible, horrible December. Because I was supposed to guest pose last year at the Kalamazoo, and then that happened in May 25th is when that happened with Nate's mom and Hans. That following week I came back because I knew I had a guest post. I was like, Natalie, you can't look like shit on stage, So I had so much anxiety though, like just because of the accident and then having to worry about still making it to the gym so I didn't look like crap on stage, blah, blah, blah. Hans actually sent me a text. Probably it was like a week and a half after everything happened, maybe 2 weeks, ends up sending me a text just like explaining like, I totally understand if you have to bow out of this, like it's not a big deal at all. I bawled my eyes out probably for like 10 minutes straight after I got that text because just that weight of him telling me that was just so much lifted off of me. I texted him back and I apologized. I mean, I was on the freaking poster and I wasn't even there, like I felt so bad. That's why this year when I was able to do it, I was like, oh my God, yes. And I'm going to make sure I'm in shape for your best posing because I felt so bad that I had to do that last year, but he was so understanding. I mean, everybody was so understanding this whole entire year for everything that happened. But yeah, I mean, it was so fun too this year. So
People I don't know if they understand like those little kind gestures, just acknowledging that you're struggling and in pain is like it's what you need.
Well,
You don't
you
even
definitely know too. You are going through the same thing that I mean, you probably know exactly what I am
yeah,
went through, am going through, will continue to go through. It's
yeah,
not easy, It's like I don't think it ever. I mean, people say time may heal, but I don't know if it does. It really you just gotta find ways that you cope with it. You know what I mean? And for me, keeping my business running good and being in the gym is what keeps me going.
yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's so great that you have that and you're obviously still thriving in the sport. So, I mean, that's awesome too. I don't think you have an off switch, Natalie.
I know this year has not been. I know people are like, you're gonna do another show. I'm like, I know this is the longest season ever. I've never done besides 2006 because I did two local shows and then the national show. Never in my life have I done more than two shows in a year,
Yeah.
except this year because this will be number 4, and then we'll see what happens after that.
So you think that'll be the last one and then you'll be able to take it. So when is the Olympia this year?
December 16th, 17th.
So you would have time for a good little break.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't even obviously if my cardio dropped a little bit, that would be fine. But diet wise, I could stay on the diet if I got more. I'm sure, my calories would be upped and stuff, but it's
Yeah.
not even like I need a huge break. Just mentally, I probably would need a little bit,
Yeah.
more.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. What are you during prep right now? What is your split looking like and how much cardio are you doing? And you're training people as well, right? That's what you guys do?
Yeah. So we own the gym, and so when we bought the gym, I had already had a list of clients. I have not taken on any new clients since we own the gym, though, just because I am working in the office on a couple days.
Yeah.
So we brought in another trainer, and then she takes care of the others. But I've kept my ride or dies, and eventually I'll probably add more in. It's just with prep, and I just have not added more clients.
No.
But my cardio was up to 30 minutes a hit fasted, and then 45 steady state post workout.
Okay.
It dropped a little bit the last week just because I needed a small little break, but again, I still did that through Kalamazoo show. This week was like the first week that I kind of dropped that. But I was training legs 3 times a week, and I think that it's not working out for me to do that. So I'm going back to 2 times a week. I know I try to be Michaela. Michaela, if you're watching this, God damn it. I tried.
So we all
So I'm going back. I know. I wish. So I'm going back to 2 days a week for legs, and then I know I don't train arms. I don't have a specific set arm day just because my arms are like they grow fast. They always have.
yeah.
So I just then do shoulders, back. Back I was doing twice a week too.
Yeah.
But I'm bringing that back down to 1 day too.
Were
So
you
back, chest, and shoulders.
were you saying that you couldn't recover from your 3 leg days? Is that why, or you just felt like
You know, I felt like I thought, I think because just in a deficit, it's hard for me too, like it's not, Natalie, you're not going to grow legs in a deficit training 3 times a week, right? Yeah. I know I'm an overtrainer, but that was just too much. So even though one of those days would be a full blown hamstring day, and then the other 2 were more quad focused, I still am dropping it back down to 2 days. I think the recovery had a lot to do with it too. And then it was like counterproductive. My legs were not growing.
I
So,
mean, at this point, you're just trying to hold on to what you've got, right? So
oh God, yeah, for sure. Especially just going into these shows, like even my back, I never really asked for judges' feedback. Like all these years I've been competing, I probably asked for it maybe 3 times before this year, maybe twice only. And every time I did that, I would get like 2 judges telling me 2 different things.
yeah.
I always hated that. It's frustrating because it's like, well, what the heck? This dude said to come in exactly how I look. This one says my back. It was always my back. Your back needs to be wider. Your back needs to be thicker. Your back needs to be wider, thicker, wider, thicker. So it was my back was like always my nemesis. So like I enjoyed training back, but at the same time it became this body. But I hated training. So it was like, God bless it, my back needs to get better. And now that I see pictures and stuff, like obviously, yeah, I can improve upon it, but I'm okay where it's at now that I can drop that back down to 1 day a week,
Yeah.
I need to focus on my legs a lot. But I did ask for feedback this year. This year I've been asking for feedback ever since Pittsburgh. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you have to take it, right? You know what I mean?
No, I know.
Yeah, you're gonna hear different stuff from different judges, and depending on who's up on the panel too, because they're probably telling you according to what they saw. So, everything has to be taken with a grain of salt.
No, right. And normally, that's all we did is like we would always just come in how we wanted to look or how we thought I preferred the look, because it's honestly it's like when you ask for judges' feedback, like it's a good thing, but sometimes you're chasing what? What are you chasing here? Like someone else's opinion on what you should look like? Are you happy with that look? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like if someone tells me I needed to add like 10 more pounds of stage weight, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm not doing that because I don't want 10 more pounds on me. You know what I mean? Like at that point, it's like, I'd sacrifice the placing on for that because it's like you got to live with yourself too after you do all that stuff, Here you are 20 pounds in with more stage weight, and then what? You're not happy with the way you look,
I want to I think it's funny because you remember that you and I did junior nationals together. We were in the same
Oh yeah, what that was 2004.
14 when you won, and I
I
were
was in
class
the last D, the tallest
C.
class.
Yes, so I was in class C, and I think I got like 13 third.
She won the overall.
Yeah,
She won the overall.
yeah, and
right.
she doesn't compete anymore either, I don't think.
I know she did like maybe 2 pro shows. I don't even know. And right, yeah. There you go. Both of those. Kim Dirks won the B class B. She's still a power lifter though, or strongman. She's strong woman.
Okay.
She still does that. She's awesome at that. Okay.
Yep.
She still kicks in the ass. She's strong as all get up. She just hasn't done another show since then. And then
can't think of
class A. Class A was oh my God, why can't I either? She got I follow her on social media. I'm friends with her on Facebook, and here I am, and I can't even think of her name right now. But she hasn't competed either since then. She's still in shape though. She has a lot of clients and stuff. She still goes to the gym all the time. But
But what I was gonna say was, what did you weigh on stage for that pro win? Do you remember?
Oh my
Like
gosh.
so hard.
I have to look, but I'm gonna say probably 141-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like 121 at 5'5". So it's
Yeah.
like, when I went to the judges, I was just, they're just like more, like you have to be bigger, and for me, I'm like, okay, I'm at the time 38 years old. I'm like, I don't know how much longer I'm doing this. I did not ever delve into any type of assistance. And it just was like, I'm starting this so late in life. Like, what am I even doing this for? You know?
Yeah, and you were being smart about it. Like that's something smart because there other people would be like, okay, here I go. I'm gonna need to do all
Yeah,
this just to
into
get it
my
there. But it's
40s,
like
I'm trying to
you
add 20 pounds of
uh,
muscle to my body.
it's like, but you just need to prioritize things in life. You know what I mean? That's what people need to do. Like, obviously, if I would have been told that at that point too, I would have been like, okay, this probably isn't for. I'm just gonna have to do this because I love to do it and not
Yeah.
compete. You know what I mean? Save myself some money at that point. But I mean, seriously, like, but I again, Nate, we don't even at this point we don't even. I know this sounds crazy, and people are probably like, "What? You don't do it for yourself?" No, I don't. I don't even take progress pics anymore. I really don't. We used to all the way up until probably 2016 take like progress pics every single week.
Yeah.
Maybe 2017 we did that. We might have done it in 2017, but like I know for a fact in 2018 and in 2020 and this year we don't even take. It's just like he sees me every day. It's like we already know my body. It's whatever. I don't even weigh myself because it messes with my head too much. He tells me not even to weigh myself. I will like closer to a show maybe once a week or every 2 weeks just to see where I'm at.
Yeah.
But it messes with my head too much. So he's just like, don't do it. And so I
It's
don't.
it's funny how much I hear that from the pros. Like it's just it's regardless of who you are, it's a thing with women, like the scale. Because like I remember Brooke saying, she'd be like, oh, I'd wake up in the morning, I'm like, I feel so lean, I feel so good. And she's like, don't step on the scale because you're gonna get pissed off when you see it if you don't see the number
Uh-huh.
down like a pound or two because you
All
think that's
right.
what you feel like. Like we
Yeah.
just don't trust that we feel good and we look good. Like this stupid scale will ruin our
I
day.
know. I know. It's so stupid too because I will preach to my clients all day long. Don't worry what the scale says. Nobody cares what the scale says. And then here I am. Don't step on the scale, Natalie, because if it's like half a pound up, you're gonna go freaking nuts. Like just so stupid. I'm an idiot. But
It's
yeah, I think I was about 141 at junior nationals, I wanna say.
it's funny
I
because
think.
I've had clients that are like stepping on the scale every day, and I'm just like, I don't know how you can do that and like be
I
fine.
know.
I'm like, because I don't
Here
ask
at the gym.
you. Ugh.
Oh God, I know. I don't know why people do it, but I see people every day get on that scale here, and I'm like, why are they weighing themselves again? Like, what did you do in a day that is gonna like? Why do you even need to know how much you weigh? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, and if it's
But-
down, chances are it's like you probably should be drinking more water before you go train.
Right,
You're going into your
right,
training dehydrated.
right. Or if it's up by 2 pounds, it's probably because you just ate a whole pizza the night before. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or pickles. I remember when I was at prep, I was like such a pickle fiend. And I'm like, then I would eat like a whole jar and I'd be like, okay, the scale is
oh
gonna
no,
stay up
I
because
love pickles, not that. Oh, the sodium.
I know.
That's so
But you'd
funny.
be like no calories, so it's fine. But then obviously the scale would be like way up.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
so funny.
I was never a dieter. That is not why I got into the sport because I was like,
That's
that was not
so
what.
funny. And I will say too, like, and that's another thing, like people around here, since we bought the gym, like there's people who used to come to the Anytime Fitness when it was Anytime Fitness. So they've seen me go through the off season pre-contest, blah, blah, blah. But then all the new members, they saw me not anywhere lean when we bought the place.
Yeah.
And then now, and they just think it's like this, they think it's insane.
Yeah.
But they don't realize, like, I do not say, like, this isn't what I look like year round. You know what I mean? And I'm not one to get obese, fat. I just do put on a regular amount of fat,
Yeah.
just because I do like food too. Like
Sushi.
I cannot stay super lean year round. It's just never been my thing. But
Yeah.
I think that's another reason why I think though too I've been able to do it for so long is because I think that your body needs that break. You know what I mean? So when you come back, it's not that much harder because you've been lean for so long, you know.
Yeah.
It just is easier for it to come off, I feel like, you know. I mean, I am realizing the older I'm getting. Can you hear that noise or no?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay, sorry. My ring is going off right now at home like a million times, and I'm trying to stop that. So like I feel like because I gain a proper amount of body fat back when I start a prep, it's nice and smooth transition instead of it being so hard because I'm so
Yeah.
lean, I guess, you know.
I
I
think
don't know.
I think that's a huge mistake that people, like I said, when I was talking about how people like kind of spun their wheels, I think back in the day too, we thought like, you know, you once you got lean that you had to try to stay stage lean. And I think, you know, that doing that for years sets you up for one, you're not really adding any size to that, you know.
Right.
And I mean that's the name of the game, right? Is to
Right. No, and I will say, I think there's been a couple times I've probably been a little uncomfortable in the off season, but that was when I was trying to add size, so I was bigger than I probably wanted to be. But even now, now that I'm older and now that I know how much harder it is aging to take it off, like I don't get stupid. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy myself, but not.
yeah.
I'm not a dummy about it.
I always used to think like, you know, that was I'm like, why is it harder now? Why do I have more like the body fat redistributes too? You know what I mean? Like 40, I'm 46 and I'm like, what is this belly fat that I like I
Well, you've had a child, like, so you know what I mean? Like, so I'm sure it redistributes after that. I don't have kids, so like I don't really know about that. But I can guess that it redistributes after that even. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Does
yeah,
it ever go back to normal after that? I don't know.
I don't
Do you
think so.
ever? And then it is just everybody your age has a lot to do with it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it is a lot. I always used to think like, you know, oh, it wasn't when I was still in my 30s. I'm like, this isn't I don't really notice anything, but you don't really notice anything until you start hitting into 40, where you're just like,
Uh-huh.
oh,
Yeah.
what's happening? Hormones. It's got to be the hormones fluctuation. They're just like
Mm.
leaving you. They're just leaving.
GM hormones,
I know.
GMH.
I know. It'll be crazy to see like what technology has going for us in another 10 years or
10
something.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
know.
it. Because it's so funny too, because like I've been telling a lot of people, like if I do make it to the Olympia, if I am able to make it this year, that I'll stop competing because that's like that. Obviously, that's like my end goal. All and I know this sounds crazy, but it's like I obviously I would like to do good there, but it's I'm a little bit realistic too here. Always have been. I wouldn't care if I did it. You know, just making it to that stage is
Yeah.
like I still get chills thinking about it. Like I get cold chills thinking about it. Like to see my name up there to like I said, the year that I've been having is just insane to me. Nate, someone asked Nate though the other day here. She keeps saying she'll be done. Do you think she'll stop competing if she makes it? He's like, hell no, she's crazy. She ain't gonna stop unless she injures herself bad or she's mentally not into it, which isn't gonna be for a long time, is what he told her. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe you're right. Maybe I would still keep going. I don't know.
At least you'll have achieved that goal. And then it kind of takes the pressure off. Now you're like, you know what? I made it to the Olympia. And now I can just kind of relax because if I make it again, obviously that's
Right.
just icing on the cake, you know? So,
Well, just because I've been doing this, obviously I don't do this for money or fame because I'm not famous and I didn't get rich off of this. But it's because I love it. So that's why I probably wouldn't stop. You know what I mean? I do love the whole process of everything. This the entire process of competing in the show is what I do love about it. And
yeah.
obviously the gym, I'll always love the gym. So
Yeah.
it's whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think that's awesome. And I do wish you the absolute best. And 4 weeks, I hope do you know,
thank
like,
you.
you're either a win, right? You either want to win or you want points
Top
after second.
three. Yeah. I would like, yeah. I'm hoping only because since it's a lower tiered show, like Omaha was, you like, for example, I placed fourth in Pittsburgh and I got 6 points for that
Okay.
because it was a higher tiered show like Tampa.
Yeah.
Omaha, I placed fourth and got 1 point.
Okay.
So the tiers of the show matter. And even Texas is a lower tiered show, even though it's a huge show because everyone wants that $15,000 that Sarah's giving out. But like, I wish I could have did it. Amazing. This is going to be the best. This weekend is going to probably be the best women's physique show yet this year because of the names, the people that are competing. So I'm excited for that one. I thought Tampa was good. This is going to be even better. Texas will be even better. But Savannah is a lower tiered show. So like you only get 1 point for fifth, 2 points for fourth, 3 points for third, and so forth. You know, the 4 points for second. So that's why I would try to get as many points as I can. But I'm also doing masters doesn't matter. But here's another. I'm excited about Savannah because in Chicago they had masters. They didn't have it in Omaha. I don't think.
Oh, can you explain to me this a little bit? So, because I don't this is something that I don't understand. So if you compete and you get your pro card in the masters division, do you get to compete at like the
An
regular
open show? Yeah.
Okay. So even if you didn't earn your pro card in an open, you still can compete?
Like at Masters Nationals, for example?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I swear that's how Gabby, you know Gabby Owens?
Uh-huh. Yep.
I think she won. Did she win at Masters?
I don't know.
I thought she won at Masters. I swear that was the show she turned pro. Maybe she did North Americans, and now I can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, if you win at a Masters National show
Okay.
and you turn pro, you can compete in the Open.
So
the only difference is that as a pro and you compete in Masters, it doesn't give you an Olympia qualification and it doesn't give you any points towards the Olympia. You just win money for top 3.
Okay, so how do you, so you just have to win the Open in order to get to the Olympia as a
automatic qualification? Correct. Yep. You have to win an Open show. And then top 5 at an Open pro show gives you points.
Okay.
But for master, like if you do the masters, which is always for females now over 40, there's some shows that do over 40, over 50, over 60. There's might be a couple that do over 60. I don't even know. But I wasn't able to do it because of the fact that the show was the day before the Open. It never used to be like that. This year, almost all of the masters shows are the day before the Open. And I didn't want to sacrifice what I look like on, say, Friday,
Yeah.
you know, just to compete in Masters if I'm not getting points or getting an Olympia qualification. But in Savannah, it's the same day. So I am doing Masters and the Open.
Oh, yeah. That's
you know, it's the same day. So I don't have to worry about peaking twice, you know? So.
Yes. So if you like you said, because there are like grandmasters or whatever, they're like, you know, so if you're 50, you're 55 and you win, would you have to win the Open, like the Open of all of the, you have to, so you have to win so if you win and you get your pro card, because there were, let's say, 3 people in your category and it's the Open, it's the pro masters, then you now can compete on the pro level with you and, you know,
a 20-year-old. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's craziness. I thought it was,
I know.
like,
I mean, like,
no.
obviously, if you're that old,
Yeah, like
I would be trying to do no Open show, but like, you know, I mean, I guess it's not a waste of money anymore because you don't really have to pay to be in the show anymore. But like, you know, like,
I mean,
you'd have to realize you're up against like 25, 30-year-olds, you know. I'm
like standing next to you and like
Natalie
Coelho and like
yeah, I know.
What?
Speaking of her, I know I swear she's such a sweet, I love her because I met her in Pittsburgh for the very first time. But I think it's so funny too that, like, you know, people are always, they're like, why is she doing this show? Why is she going to do New York? Blah, 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 blah. If I look like that year round, I would too.
Yeah.
I mean, she is always so close to stage.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
I don't know if I would or not, but all she's doing is collecting money, you know? Yeah. I mean, I think the titles mean more to her than the money do, honestly. But I mean, shoot, she's I mean, like Michaela, man, I swear. I never seen him fat.
Oh, I
Never.
know. I know. And Michaela, it all came right back to you after her hernia surgeries. Like, you know, and she didn't even look bad when she was,
I know. And to her, it was probably the worst she's ever looked. I know, she's so funny. But yeah, I mean,
yeah. I think she's so I think
that was amazing in itself. But
I think a lot of the
no,
women that follow this show, that follow the podcast are always looking at like, like, I think you look at I would say if you're looking to figure out how to train, Michaela Acock is the person to follow on social media because I know most women would be like, because she's a female bodybuilder, and they would be like, oh, I don't really want to look like that. But training like that is the fastest way to get to where you want to be. So learning how to train correctly, that's not going to get you looking like Michaela. It's going to get you looking like, gaining your muscle, and you can stop whenever it is that you want to stop. Learn how to train correctly for a couple of years like her.
right.
You're going to really take yourself far. So
I know, like I swear to you, like I am tinkering, even hiring her to write a program for me just for my legs. Like
yeah,
I'm not even kidding you, because that is like just one area that I've just never been able to
yeah,
get it right. My
you
poor
should.
legs always in the off season, they look like I have much more muscle on them, but it's obviously all fat because then they dwindle down to almost whatever. I don't know what it is. I don't know if genetics have a huge role, but I've always been able to get my legs super lean, unlike most females, like early on in a prep, versus
Yeah.
my abs always used to come in like my genetically, that it's my stomach that holds most body fat. My abs are the last to come in versus my legs, which obviously for females it's usually different. I've always been able to get the opposite though, and that drives me nuts because it's
Yeah.
like I just want to add size so bad. It's like I have no adductors, but they're there in the off season. I know they are. I mean, I know they're fat, but I swear it's like I need adductors and I don't know how to get them. Can I get adductor implants? Can I get adductor implants? That's what I would get.
You should talk to her about, or even like, maybe after this goal, you could try working with her for a year or something like that. Like that'd be pretty
And
cool.
honestly, yeah, like I really, I mean, I was gonna message her the other day and ask her if she even. I know she does programs like that, but I
Yeah.
really just want her to write me my leg workouts. Could you write me my leg workouts for this season? Thank
Yeah.
you.
And I'm sure she writes programs like that. Like
Oh
that.
yeah, oh yeah.
No problem. All right, let's do some fun stuff before we get going.
Huh?
What's your biggest gym pet peeve?
Leaving weights on machines.
It's
And I'm
mine.
gonna tell you what, when it was Anytime Fitness, okay, we didn't own it. Obviously, I was just the trainer here. It was such an issue every morning. Every single morning, I would come in Monday through Friday. Almost all of the machines had weights on them. The
Yeah.
owner did not give a flying freak about it. He like wouldn't check the cameras to see who did it, because there's cameras that run 24/7. We're a 24-hour gym. It's just we're not staffed 24 hours, and it wasn't like that when it was Anytime Fitness too. So like he would never check to see who did it, and people thought that it was my job as the trainer to take the weights off the machine. Wrong. I would leave them on unless I had to use it. Like not my problem. When we bought the gym, that was one thing I said that was going to stop here. And sure enough, we put up signs everywhere, first of all, even though there were signs everywhere too. But I like wrote out more signs and plastered them literally everywhere. But if I came in and there was a weight on machine, I would check the camera, see who left it on, and I'd call them or I'd text them and be like, excuse me, the rules of the gym, when you sign up, you're abiding by the rules of the gym, and the rules of the gym are posted everywhere. Putting your weights away are like 4 of the rules on the list of rules. And yeah. So if you don't abide by the rules, if you can't respect my gym, I don't want your money. I care less about the money. I want you to respect me and my gym. Okay. So
Yeah.
don't do it again. Blah, blah, blah. It's not really an issue here ever. I mean, we get a lot of, in South Haven, there's only us, which is the only 24-hour gym here in South Haven. And then we have a wellness center, which is connected to the hospital, the Bronson Wellness Center. So it's like really expensive, and you can't even get a day pass unless you're with a member. They do offer week passes, but like it's just a lot of money. But they have a lot of amenities. It's a really nice place. They have a track, basketball court, pool, all these classes, blah, blah, blah. Or there's a CrossFit gym, and not many people go to that. So like in the summertime is when South Haven is so packed, which I love because it's like, you know, everyone's out of town. That's like my Chicago. That's when I love it because it's like Chicago to me, you know, because it's crowded. Everyone else hates it, but I love it. But we have so many out of town people come in at least every Monday. There's like 20, 25 week pass people that come in, okay, in the summers. So every once in a while, even though I tell them, it's like they'll still kind of do it. And if I can catch them, I'll get them. But sometimes I can't catch them, you know, because it's like, shoot, they're already gone, you know, it was them and I don't know. So it's like, okay with that. Sometimes I give them a little break, but for the most part, our regular members, they know not to do it because they know I'll get them.
Yeah.
I know. I was going to do a wall of shame when we opened. Like we have this big black wall. It used to be a chalk wall. And I was going to plaster pictures. I said, when people leave weights on machines, I'm going to plaster a picture right on this wall and just make the wall of shame. But I never ended up doing that because it never really became an issue. It's kind of good now. But that's my biggest pet peeve because it drives me nuts. It's like, how are you so lazy? You put this stuff on and you can't take it off. We have he's 93 because his birthday was yesterday. We have a 93-year-old that comes into the gym every single day. And he can't even take the 25-pound plate off of the seated calf machine. So it's like this is why I care. For my members who are inspiring me to keep going every day, he's 93. He can't take weights off. You better take it off.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah. I remember when I had surgery on my shoulder and I was in the gym. I had surgery on Tuesday. I was in the gym the following Monday training legs. And that's when I noticed how often people left because I couldn't lift a 45 plate because I wasn't supposed to lift it with my good arm because you know, you can tweak things. So I had I'm like, hey, I'm having people like unload the leg press and unload, you know, different stuff that like weights are still left on. It's terrible around here. I mean, the other gym besides the Planet Fitness that I train at, oh my gosh, like there'd be full up like deadlift bars on the floor with weights on them. I'm just like, like you said, you loaded it up. Why can you not take it off? Like, I don't get that at all.
And it's so funny because like when we first opened, I am not one to like sit down. Like, so I hate just sitting in this office. Like, that's why I'm either working out or I'm out there like cleaning up shit or whatever. But like, I would go and like put the weights, like the 25s where they're supposed to go, the 10s where they're supposed to go, like blah, blah, blah. I've learned that people do not put the weights back where they got them from because I would be out there like 9 times a day. So I gave up my OCD. Like I cleared that off my OCD list because I'm like, I can't do this every day. Like they're not leaving them on the actual machines, but they're just leaving them on any peg they want to. So it's like all wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And this happens all day long. Nate, on the other hand, that might be his biggest pet peeve. He hates when like someone puts a 45-pound plate like where the 10 should go. Because then it like jacks up every other plate that's on it. He cannot stand that. But I'm like, baby, I tell him all the time, I'm like, you gotta stop worrying about that because it's gonna happen it's not one person, it's literally nobody puts it back where they got it from. Nobody. So get that out of your head like this.
Yeah, unless you start clean.
Well, and we're a 24-hour gym. It's like, it's too hard to keep track of that. Like, I could care less about that. As long as they're taking it off the machine, I don't care. It's whatever, you know? It's just like the person being lazy, not putting it down on the right peg or whatever, you know, but it's whatever.
Yeah, at least off the machines. What are you looking forward to eating after you're done?
You know, since I don't even know. I've been able to have a weekly cheat meal though. I get a weekly cheat meal. Yeah. Well, because I've been dieting I've been competing since May. So it's like not, you know, I think he's doing that to keep me sane. So it keeps me sane. But the first thing, like after Kalamazoo, we went to go get sushi. You know, Sakura is my favorite. The one on Westnedge. Legit. I don't care where I go. I've never had sushi as good as Sakura. Mm-hmm. The one in Kalamazoo. One in Grand Rapids is not as good because there's one in Grand Rapids and I don't think it's as good. Everywhere we go though, even out of town, everywhere we go to get sushi, it's still not as good. What did we get after Chicago? Where did we go? Why can't I even remember where we went? Oh my God.
You didn't get
I don't even remember. No. I don't know. Where did we go? Nate's gonna watch this and be like, you idiot.
It was a burger. I feel like I saw a video of you. Did you eat a burger?
Did I eat a burger? I didn't.
Chicago? I don't know.
Oh no, we did go for sushi. We did. We did go for sushi. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot about that. Yeah, we did go for sushi, but there's like this awesome breakfast place around there too, like right by the Tinley Park Convention Center that we went the next day and got breakfast. Like they have the best pancakes I ever ate in my whole entire life. I got red velvet pancakes. Yeah,
Ooh,
I do love like junky food like that when I can eat it. I
yeah,
do love it.
yeah,
I dominate. And when I eat sushi, I don't eat healthy sushi.
yeah.
Everyone's all like, "That's a healthy cheese." Not the rolls I get. If it don't have avocado, cream cheese, and deep fried, I don't want
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Yes.
it.
Yeah.
The
Those are,
avocado and the cream cheese make everything better. And then if
yeah,
it's deep fried, it just makes it even better.
like the tempura shrimp in there.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Go ahead and give me a side of spicy mayo too while you're at it.
yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, I do love the spicy mayo.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. So what is your favorite body part to train?
Currently, shoulders. It's been shoulders for a while, but I used to love training legs. My clients will tell you that I probably love training legs because they hate their leg days, but I still do enjoy training legs. It's just the shoulders have come to this part where I like love training shoulders.
Yeah.
And
What is
yeah, my least favorite is obviously I hate training arms. I hate it. It's so boring to me.
yeah.
So boring.
Yeah.
I'm just lucky that they grow fast and that I don't have to train them weekly. I mean, I'll throw in a bicep and a tricep exercise every so often, but literally, I
Yeah.
think I don't know if genetics have a role in that, or if it's just because when I first started working out in my bedroom, I did a lot of the mirror, like I didn't know what I was doing.
Yes.
I did a lot of arm things because I was able to do arm things with what I had. And
Yeah.
like I said, so I don't know if they grew because I've been training them from the very beginning like that.
Yeah.
Because it's been a few years since I even gave them a day. Every once in a while, I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll train arms today, whatever. It's like
Yeah.
every 5 months, maybe give it a
Yeah.
full day because that's my least favorite. Yeah.
So funny. What does your shoulder day look like?
Um, Lots of volume. Lot, Lots and lots of volume. Um, usually do like two pressing movements,
Yeah.
whether it's a machine or if it's like seated military. I like seated military. That's probably my favorite compound movement.
Yeah.
But isolation, we have a we ended up getting a new shoulder machine because it was like I needed something else just besides standing dumbbell laterals or I mean, you know how it's so boring too. Shoulders kind of are boring because there's only so many movements you can do for freaking side
Yeah.
laterals, front raises. Okay, choose what you want to use. But I do a lot of drop sets or like super high volume on those.
Yeah.
Like there's times like even for side laterals, like I'm talking like 50 reps, 40 reps, 30 reps, 20 reps, 10 reps. Like that's a whole, I'll start with weight and do 50 and then I catch my breath, pick up another weight, do 40. And I just keep like, that's how high volume it is.
Okay.
The only thing I keep like my pressing movements are always lower reps though. And then
Yeah.
it's just my isolations that are super high rep usually.
Yes.
Some
Yeah.
days I'll try to go heavier and stuff. And then, it just literally, I am not, there's only certain movements that I keep track of weight wise as
Yeah.
far as progression goes.
Yeah.
Cause I'm at a point where even like I switched up every workout, the isolation movements.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Does that make sense to you? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Keeping your compounds pretty much the same. That's what you're measuring, and keeping them a little bit lower reps, heavier, and then your isolation, you switch it up.
Yeah.
I write that with workouts for my with my clients as well. Sometimes even, you get like an A and B as the tail end of the workout.
Oh, sure.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
And
great
like
it up.
usually it's just like the two pressing movements, and then I obviously do something for front, side, and rear, but sometimes I'll throw in an extra rear just because that is like the one that I
Yeah.
think flags on my shoulders. So
It lags, and I think as you get older, those rear exercises are so important because I think especially for most of us, we're so forward all the time. So the more that you can do stuff that's strengthening your scapula and
posture. Oh yeah.
yes,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I
especially with phones too now. I even catch
know.
myself. I'm like, that's why I need to go to the chiropractor because you were on your damn phone all last night, like with my head down like this or something. I hate that too. I wish social media was just not around anymore. I swear to God, back in the day, it was so nice to have just forums to go on. You go on a real computer. You don't even like, I never even got on a forum on my phone because I didn't have a phone that had,
Yeah.
like the forums weren't around then. It was like you were getting on your legit computer and friggin' going on the forums.
It's
I
really
miss that.
fun.
I miss the magazines. I miss,
I do.
when it was like that. I do
Yeah.
miss that. Social media has,
Yeah.
I mean, it's good and bad. There's pros and cons, I guess, but
Yeah.
sometimes I just really hate it. I'm telling
I
you, Facebook, I've been in jail a few times. I don't even like commenting on people's stuff on Facebook anymore because it's like I say a joke and they think I'm serious, and here I go, I'm in jail again. It drives me nuts.
especially if you get somebody who's like in a particular headspace, or I think sometimes young people don't understand the sarcasm and you're like, I'm kidding, or
Yeah.
just
And I've tried to fight them a million times and they still deny me. And then Instagram, when my original account got hacked, I almost lost. I was not, man, I'm a stubborn girl. And for a while, I was like, I'm not starting a new one. I'm not starting a new one. They're going to give me this old one back. I couldn't retrieve it at all. I sent in a million videos and these idiots still were like, oh, that's not you. Okay. My face is everywhere. I mean, I know I don't look like that right now. Like half the pictures, but like, I was so mad I couldn't get that back. But I ended up starting a new one just because if I didn't own this gym, if I didn't own the gym, I literally probably wouldn't have. But I did because we have a gym one too, but I basically run the social media accounts for the gym. So I have to have them.
oh
But
yeah. I know it's crazy, and you have to figure out how much of that you want in your life,
yeah.
Yeah, I know I'm at a point where I don't really post so much anymore. It's like, I think for a while, like when you're in the thick of it, you're like, oh, growing my account, like blah, blah, blah. And then you're just like, I'm kind of like retired. So
Literally, that's the last. I could care less about how many followers I have. I really don't. I really don't. I mean,
dropping, like mine is dropping all the time. It's like, I don't, this isn't 2017. I'm not in the middle of prep anymore.
I know.
Like, it's fine.
Like that's my Instagram is totally different than my Facebook too, because my Facebook at one point, I don't know what year it was, but at one point I basically got rid of all of the shimos that were on there because at one point I accepted everybody as a friend. Except I accepted 900 million people. And then I had to go through my list and be like, nope, I want to make my Facebook more personable,
Totally. Mhm.
Um, but again, so I got rid of everybody and it's mostly family and like close friends. And then obviously there's industry people, but it's like,
Yep.
that's what my Instagram is for, is the industry only. You know what I mean? I mean, I'll post some personal stuff on there, but Facebook was more personal to me until I started getting put in jail. And now I just post funny memes and my show stuff because I'm so sick of them putting me in jail. I hate it. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
I know. It was really funny because I couldn't sleep last night and I went through and I was like, who is on my Facebook? And it wasn't big. It was like, I had like 600 and some people and now I have like 400 something. I just was like exactly.
Wait, on your Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I deleted
I don't even know how many
people. I just was like exactly what you said. I'm like, I post stuff of mostly Anna. You know this.
Yeah. Yes, her voice is so amazing. She sounded so good at doing the national anthem. Even Nate just yesterday was like, "Did you see Anna singing?" I was like, "Yeah."
You guys are so sweet. I just love it. I love it. But yeah, but that's what I want. I don't want creepy people
right. Yeah.
My kids. So there's a couple of people that I am surprisingly friends with, like, Kevin Lavroni and like some of the other big people of the industry that I'm still, Lee Haney, whatever. But yeah, for the most part, but they don't see my stuff,
No, well, and even if they did, you're not just accepting like whoever from India or wherever you're living. Like I literally, the first thing I do is look who mutual friends we are. And if it's all female bodybuilders, you ain't getting accepted. I'm sorry.
Totally.
I have a huge and I don't even hit decline. They just sit in my waiting box.
Oh my
God.
God.
I'm like, I don't want them sending me 10 million. They'll just keep resending it. I've realized. So I just leave them sitting there.
It's totally, it's the same. I bet you now I probably have 900 Facebook friend requests.
Right.
that are,
Yeah.
I would say 90% of them are men. And they're just, like you
Hmm.
said, I don't delete them either. They're just sitting there. But
And
you,
every mutual friend is a bodybuilder, someone that you know, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you can change your settings so that they have to have at least one mutual friend. But like you said, if it is just another female bodybuilder in the industry, because a lot of, like you did, but a lot of women don't, they just accept whoever. And so you do get a ton of schmoes. And it's like, okay, I don't want like this dude, this just random dude, like asking
And
me.
now I will say, I don't even say they're like, I mean, there's a few people who, I don't know if this is gonna sound mean or not. I mean, like who like I would consider schmoes, but like who I've known forever and they're not disrespectful at all. They've
Yeah.
been more supportive than anything, kept them around. You know what I mean? Because they post normal stuff. They're not posting only on my bodybuilding stuff. They post on my personal stuff, you know. They tragedies, saying prayers, you know, it's stuff like that. Like they're normal people to me. Like so I kept them around, you know. But like for the most part, I got literally that's probably a handful, and that's it because I had to delete everybody. And then Instagram, like I said, is a totally different. Go there if you want. Like, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
When I did that photo shoot with Kai York, okay,
Oh yes, those
yeah,
pictures were
and
amazing.
I took
Oh, gosh.
the couple of nude pictures. All I had to do was post the first one I ever posted, and that's what got me to 17,000 followers on Instagram. I'm not even kidding you. I don't even know how many I had before that photo shoot, but as soon as that picture was posted, holy mother of God, that old Instagram account of mine blew up. Blew up. Um,
Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. We'll go here. Let's look a second.
oh, look at you. That's awesome that you can do that. I know. Two may show up. Oh no, that's the way.
Oh
So
yeah.
if
There's
we go all the way down to the very first picture that's posted, oh, that's one of them too, the black and white one. But
yeah.
the one I'm talking about is all the way at the bottom because it was one of the first pictures I posted just to get everybody's attention.
Yeah.
On
You're
my
like,
new,
here I am. I'm back.
yeah, follow me, not my old account.
Yes. Yeah.
Man,
It took me a minute to oh
there you go, there you go. That one, that's the one I posted that literally
yeah.
had like,
I love this shoot. It was amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
he that was a bucket list thing for me, and Nate bought me that as a gift, and it was just probably the best gift ever. Like I am so glad that I shot with him.
Puppies.
Yeah, I
But
know.
they
My
were so
kids,
great.
those are
And
my kids.
I love too that you didn't have your spray tan because so many people,
Ah,
you know,
yeah.
it
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah.
so it's so pure. I just love it. They're beautiful. They're just
I
beautiful.
think he probably would have preferred me not to have it too, though. You know, like that's just how he is. He likes the raw
Yeah.
with,
Well,
you
and then
know.
it doesn't look like your typical you stepped off stage for a photo shoot either.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just love his work. His work is obviously amazing. Every single picture is amazing that he does.
Yeah. They
And
were
so like that picture I did not want posted on Facebook originally, the first one that we saw, okay, because I'm like, oh, my mom and dad are gonna be like, Natalie,
yeah.
you are naked. You know, like, and here I am at 41 years old, still worried about my mom and dad thinking things, right? So I never posted that on Facebook, that original one. I posted the one where I'm like kneeling and it's a side view on there, but not that one on the box.
Yeah.
And what happened? Someone stole it off my Instagram, went to their Facebook, posted it, tagged me, and I was like, mother effer, take this down now. This is not supposed to be on Facebook. I learned my lesson with that. I was so mad about that. I don't think my mom and dad ever saw that one though. Honestly. They might have, I don't know, but
It's so funny
not
how
that they would be mad because it's literally not showing anything, you know.
this
It's
one.
not like, yeah, that's one. They've seen that one, but not that other one. But anyways, and it's not even a big deal. It's just the way I am. I'm still the baby and I still care what my parents think.
No, I think the only good thing, not the only good thing, because obviously I got the experience, but from being at junior nationals, I did a photo shoot with Dan Ray. I did, I think, like
Oh yeah.
3 photo shoots, but and I had like my Superman underwear and my
Yeah.
pink bra, and it's just like I'm like, oh my gosh, I looked awful on stage, but the photos for the photo shoot looked amazing.
Yeah, and that's good to have those memories too. You know what I mean? That's what I say. And Dan Ray, that's hilarious that you say that because in Chicago in 2018. Like I was supposed to shoot with him and we never ended up getting to shoot. I had a couple lined up and I told him next time you're at a show, I promise you. Well, then we were at Chicago this year. I didn't realize we were leaving so early on Sunday than we did because we were supposed to shoot Sunday. I had to get a hold of him and like cancel that because I didn't realize Nate wanted to leave literally at like 5 o'clock in the morning. But he's probably so mad at me and I feel so bad because I never ended up getting to shoot with him. But it is what it is. I'll eventually give him his photo shoot that he wants.
And he's always booked. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, which he was shooting the whole entire show though too. So I know like we couldn't do it. You know, we competed Friday. I could have did it all day Saturday because we were there, but he was shooting the show. So it was like hard to coincide those schedules, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Dan Ray's awesome.
Well,
yeah.
Natalie, what is your if you had some, final words for the women watching, maybe people getting into competing or looking to you for some advice, how would you kind of wrap this up? Anything last words you want to say?
Just a couple things. Number one, if you're uncertain about something, like you have a coach, you know what I mean, and you're uncertain about what they're telling you to do your own research, because literally it's out there. All you gotta do is use Google. You know what I mean? Like for real, use Google to research the stuff that they want you to do. Besides that though, just to keep going and to follow your dreams, because I'm not kidding you. I've already said I've been doing this it'll be 18 years here soon. And this is the best year competing that I've ever had in my life. Keep going, dreams do come true. Like literally, it took me this long to start making top 5, top 3 at shows.
Yeah.
This long, but I never gave up. Because I love it. So.
Yeah, and I think you do have to love it, don't you? You have to love, find that passion, and then you can, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So keep going and dream, because anything's possible. I'm not kidding.
And work your ass.
My motto now.
You're the worker.
Overtrainer.
Yeah.
Don't overtrain. Do not overtrain. And don't weigh yourself every day.
I love that. Yes. Overtrain and don't weigh yourself. Wise words from Natalie Wolfe.
Oh, shoot.
That's awesome.
Thank you for having me though.
Yeah, no,
I appreciate it.
It's been long overdue.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm super excited. All right, well, you guys, you can find Natalie on Instagram. What is your Instagram tag? I just missed it there.
Yeah, Natalie Ray Wolfe _ IFBB WP Pro.
Okay, perfect.
At Natalie Ray Wolfe _ IFBB WP Pro.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, Deborah.
Yeah. All right, you guys, you can find me on Instagram at buffcake22. You can follow the podcast at The Women's Fittest and find us wherever you listen to podcasts, and my YouTube buffcake22. And remember that healthy looks different on everybody. Thanks, Natalie.
Oh, that's right. Tell Anna we said hi.
I will.
All right. Bye.